Got it.
Okay. We'll call this meeting to order at 8:34 a.m. I'll do the rules of conduct. This meeting will be held in person and virtual. Anyone joining this meeting virtually will generally remain on mute except when speaking or voting. They will generally be keeping video of themselves turned on throughout the meeting. If anyone joining virtually creates an audio or video disruption, they may be manually ejected from the meeting upon recommendation of the chairperson running the meeting. Any questions on that? Because we did have one last night.
You did?
Yes.
Oh, I got Zoom bomb.
Yeah.
So be careful, it hasn't gone away.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had a lot of dock permits, and I thought these were people coming in
Yep.
to watch the dock permit process. It's very exciting. And all of a sudden, we started hearing bad weird words and weird noises, and I quickly kicked them out.
Okay. Huh.
Oh, that was
God, that's light.
I know.
If you're gonna bomb something.
Right.
At least there was no, well, you know why there was probably no pictures? Because I had a PowerPoint presentation on. I was sharing a screen. So maybe those were happening behind the scenes and we didn't know.
No, I think it's just because you caught it in time, because they started with just these noises and stuff, and it's like. Now it's like, right, get rid of them. So,
Wow.
yes. Anyway,
So
so,
new people are discovering this, like, teenagers or something.
Yeah. no, I think it's just an old thing, that's continuing, so. Right, Mark took care of it, that's quick done. All right, so we'll start off the bat approving the September 11th fiscal policy minutes. Do I have a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Any discussion? Changes?
I'll second that. If you need a second. Wonderful.
Thank you, Barbara. All right, and if there's no changes, we'll vote to accept. Who can vote? I think we can all vote. Yes. Aye. Mark, are you okay?
Aye.
Okay. Correspondence, there isn't any old business, so we'll move right on to new business. Discussion and action on the 25 annual meeting schedule for fiscal policy. Has anybody had a chance to review them? Does anybody have any changes? We can just keep it as is, as we'll hold the meetings when necessary. If nothing's on the agenda, we'll cancel like we've been doing all year.
So we'll be planning on the second Wednesday of each month.
Yes.
Okay.
Same time here, same place, same time.
Okay.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the 25 yearly meeting schedule.
Second. A second. Art, all in favor? Looking easy. All right, update on the HVAC project.
That is not quick and easy.
That is we will try, because we're going to get probably, you have a meeting on Friday. I
Friday
think
at
at
4.
4. Yeah, so we went out to bid. The bids came in a lot more higher than anticipated. The lowest was about $7.4 million and the number.
Ours is 9.
About $9 million.
So it was,
Rude awakening.
and just so you know, this is happening, I just got word it happening in East Haddam and in Coventry. So they're both trying to figure out what to do, because in order to have additional authorization for bonding, you have to go back to a referendum. Because it's over 500,000. And there's a lot of discussion last night at the end of the board meeting. Walking out on kind of ideas of what to do, how to downsize the project, or how to, I don't know. But my fear is, we've already found out from the state that they will not authorize more money just because your project became more expensive.
I have to contact the fund if we modify the project now.
Right, so the next question is, what if we downsize the project? We're not asking for more money, we're gonna do half the project. And have that But then,
But we
here's
have
the
to go
problem,
back out to bid.
you have to go back out to
Back
bid,
and
and you're
time.
going to miss the December two thousand
Right,
twenty-five.
and they're not gonna, yeah, they already said we can get extension, but it's based on the original project. And they
Right.
definitely have to have a good amount.
And I think the
progress.
state, knowing the bureaucratic way they operate, would say, you change anything, you do a whole new application on the next round, is
Yeah.
my guess.
And there is no next round.
Right, there is no next round. The other two pieces of this, one, I've had to do some studies of our building because I'm having complaints on the air quality. That's in the works of trying to appease and figure that out. I actually have an attorney working with me on this. The other piece is it's going to be mandated
Yes.
down the road to do the air quality changes. You know, we were really disappointed with the numbers that came in, you know, after all 2 years of work with.
Well, part of that is because the state is forcing us with an arbitrary deadline.
Right.
If that were enough issue, I don't think working second and third shift would have been, I think that caused a lot of these increases. If you're going to allow because the summer's not enough to do the whole project, it's not enough weeks. So you have to work while the children are not in school at night. For the last, or maybe you could do a wing and start earlier than night. But it's complicating. And you probably had time and a half or something.
Well, they're working like 4 to midnight.
Is that what
Mhm.
was agreed to?
3:30 to midnight.
Plus weekends.
Plus weekend.
The signature could be double time.
Right. So we'd have to have a town meeting adjourned to a referendum. The time for a referendum, we're looking at a month for just that.
And you still have to talk to registrar of voters, see if they're. Well, I think they're already coming for you for that, and so. They said, again, we're on a time crunch here because. If we're gonna modify them, we have to go back out to bid. I don't think the school's gonna be very happy if we keep postponing this project. I think you're gonna get parents coming out saying, do it anyway, so. I think we just need to make a decision, see what happens at the HVAC meeting, and then get to the board of selectmen on Tuesday, make some decisions and update FIPAC on Wednesday.
Steve won't be at Tuesday meetings. But it still has to go to public hearing or
Yes.
town meeting to discuss this.
Yes, you have to update the public.
And I guess we've already have Silver Petroselli working on some re-engineering of the project in some way to cut costs. But I don't know if that's possible.
So they're just looking at any option.
What could they do? Like spitballing? I don't think you're gonna.
They're coming
from
Friday.
$1.5 million.
Couple $100,000.
You know what I mean? That's a big, and it's surprised, I was shocked that it wasn't like a few outliers. Most of them were 8 million something. Only one bid was 7,400,000. So they're all in the 8 millions. That, it just seems crazy, that kind of money.
For us.
But you were gonna contact Bill to see if he can give us some scenarios.
Yeah, and he wants, maybe you and I need to work on that. He wants a memo. Bill Lindsay is our municipal advisor for bonding. He said, give me a memo of exactly what scenarios you want. So I guess the one scenario is the maximum bonding we can do, 3.6 million. Maybe we should write that memo right now, because do you want 3.6, 5 million, and 6 million? Because it's really, here's the other thought process I've been having. We've already financed 1 million of this project with general fund. We took 2 authorizations of 499,000. And I have the Pine Street culvert coming up, which we haven't put out to bid yet. It's wrapping up the engineering drawings right now. But that was estimated at 1.2 million.
I have no idea.
Okay, let's say it's a little over a million for Pine Street. I was planning to throw Pine Street into the bonding as a second authorization. But what we could do is put this entire project for the school in one authorized bonding. Pay ourselves back the million we borrowed and then use that million that's now back in general fund to just do Pine Street, because I don't know when Pine Street's gonna hit. That's probably more than a year away. I think it's probably in 2026.
And the bonding, they only want you to include it if you're pretty definite you're gonna be doing it, so.
Well, what we're definite about is Pine Street.
Yeah, but it's not, yeah, you'd have to check with Bill, can we still put it in there for that, at that point we're ready to go?
Well, it's not authorized either.
Yeah, so
So,
we can't keep delaying the HVAC because we're waiting for the roads.
well, that's, I don't want to delay it.
Yeah,
I want to get it done some sort, but I
and
don't want to lose we have 3.1 million
the grant,
in the grant.
it's over $3 million, but you probably should add a little more to this bonding, besides the difference that we still need. There's always change orders. Because once they get in that building, there could be more to it. There's like an additional contingency in there, so.
Well, right now you have 7.4 as the low bid. You have 1 million out of our general fund, which was for the first 499,000 was all that engineering and architecture.
Yes, then
And
you
then
had.
the second 400,000 was all the,
Third, and you had third. 75.6 for the project manager.
okay, and $75,600 for the project manager.
So let's just say $1.1 million.
Yeah. So that is 7,585, 8,500,000 is what this project is without any contingency. Or does that 7.4 include some contingency?
I don't know, I haven't seen the bids.
Okay,
I would think they had put some contingency in it.
but anyway, we're at 8.5 on this project.
It's whether you wanna get reimbursed that 1 million.
Right, that 1 million we've already paid for, out of general fund.
So you're getting over 3 million, so you really got, we'll say at least 4 million, definitely minimum that you're gonna bond,
Right, and the 3 million
3.5.
something in reimbursement. So let's say we're actually going back to the voters really for another million. They've already authorized 3.6 million. So we need a million to finish this project,
At least.
at least.
So, and we're certain we're accepting the lowest bid, we reviewed the
I'm
bids.
not certain of that. Good
Yeah, they
point.
have to vet because the next one up is 8.1 million.
How many bids are there?
5.
What?
There's 5 bids.
I thought it was more flat.
Well, there's
Oh,
5,
look.
this is the top 5.
Okay,
So I assume this is all of them.
yes,
Yes.
So there were 5 bids.
okay.
I would say the 8.8 million is out.
And we're meeting at, I think, 4 o'clock on Friday.
I'll have to come in by phone. Don't feel that.
Put a movie in.
Oh, for
You know, get my grandchildren. Mama,
Just have them watch it, that's, here, it's exciting.
watch, this is a new entertainment.
Yeah, so that's where we're at. Hopefully by next week's meetings, we'll bring more information to share with everybody. I think what would be good if you get a consensus from the Board of Ed, if they still want to proceed. I think that's key.
I think I already have the consensus.
Yeah,
We
I
talked
do,
about it.
but I think
Yeah.
if you set it out, get them
Yeah, if you could
separate
give
answers
me
and that.
from the Board of Ed, a written,
Mike write a written thing that
this,
is a
we feel it's
consensus.
justified or whatever your discussion leads you to help FIPAC and more so.
Especially because we probably should have that something by next week's
Okay.
Board of Selectmen meeting, just so that they're gonna say, hey, they're still supporting. So, despite the numbers.
Barbara, have you gotten any feedback from your organizations of how many schools have done HVAC projects and are complete? Is it mostly the cities that started on round one?
They're the
In
ones that
advance.
are complete, others aren't complete, but yeah. But there's plenty of, smaller towns too that got the grant that are trying to do this.
Okay,
I don't have a percentage or anything, but I have a list I can get you.
I'm just trying to get a feel for if we delay. Does this put us in a pack of all the other schools that have not gotten this far?
So the problem is if you delay, there's no grant money.
Well, there's two things I'm fearful of. There's only so many vendors that do this. And they're already flat out. And I think the wave is still on the rise for it. Especially once the state mandates this, but I don't know if they definitely will. If they're not, it's kind of hard to mandate something that you're not going to come up with more grant money to back up.
Yeah.
And
I've done that
I
though.
Done that.
Why would I do that?
think part of what I'm fearful too is that you have a veto-proof majority in the House and Senate right now. And they're threatening to start going after the guardrails, to get more funds to fund things like HVAC. And they're kind of wondering if the government will veto it. Because with a super majority veto, they could then override his veto. Now you've got a real battle. Because he likes the guardrails and paying down the pension, as we all know.
But any delay, isn't that gonna,
You could end up losing a.
You could lose the grant if we
and you
delay.
could lose the
Grant.
bid, I mean.
Correct.
You could lose the bid because
It's like, seems like every week you delay, there's
the
a.
more you delay, the more likely if you have this lower one, the cost could go up as well as you could say, I already took another job.
Right, and our project manager said that the reason you had so many, that's quite a good response on that bid, getting 5 bids with, they had to go through a lot to do those bids.
Mhm.
He said they're all booking 2025, so this is when you book your next year. That's,
I mean, it's not that far away.
no,
Time.
it's starting in a
I'm
month.
already planning New Year's Eve parties.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna need to hear between FIPAC and Board of Selectmen, what are we doing? And I need to get those bond estimates to you for your meetings on the different, so the dollar amount, should I get 3.6, which is our maximum authorized?
But I think we could work with Bill, he can come up, he's done this before, so he could probably come up with some ideas too.
Well, he just wants to know the numbers,
Yeah, I'd say do at least 3 or 4 scenarios, so
3, 6,
5.
well, how about 3, 6, 4, 5? And 5?
I guess.
How is 3, 6 even 5?
I know, I don't,
I don't know, there's a-
Oh, you mean because it's
too low.
too low, it
Yeah.
doesn't get you anywhere.
That's the original.
Right.
Right, that's the authorization, which means, well, 3, 6 is only good if we downsize the project, but I think then you'll lose the grant.
And there's no guarantee you're gonna get more.
Anyway, we can find that out, that was one thing we were trying to find out before Tuesday, and like next Wednesday. If we ask the state.
Yeah, I said I'd do that today, because that came up last night.
Correct. So that would put the 3, 6 back into play if the state said, yeah, do phase 1 and 2.
it's a reimbursement grant, but it's not a percentage, so.
So, it's, you gotta set them out, you reimburse to you till the deadline. unless you get an extension. The problem is that if you are gonna downsize, you have to rebid the whole project,
Mhm.
which could null and void everything.
You're
You
right.
can't just, these companies bid because they thought they're doing the whole building.
So 3.6 isn't viable. That 3.6 is out the window because
You
It's
could
not
say,
enough.
you could say, hey, if we were to keep status quo, and the town has to find out other financing. Because the original appropriation was for 3.6 in bonding, so you could stick with the original, but we have to find other sources. We already have to do short-term
that
financing.
was it. That's what I talked to Bill about. We have the authorization for 3.6. So we can only bond up to 3.6 at this second, but we could go out for short-term financing with, it would still need to be a referendum,
Yes,
but you're not adding to a bond. You're short-term financing and paying off the extra million.
so he'd have to come up with a scenario on that.
You're really looking to get more than just $1 million. So it's not gonna cover any ifs, ands, or oops
For what?
on the project. If we add more, I think you wanna be somewhere, but, you know, close to having $8 million total.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you just came up with 8.5. I mean, I don't know what percentage. People typically use 15% as contingency. I just reviewed 240 nonprofit grant capital projects, so I've seen a lot of people's bids. So
15 is the standard.
15% is often a
We'll
contingency.
have to look at the bids, because it's, I'm sure
There's
there's
in there.
contingency in there.
Or we may have to add a little more, just because the more we delay.
But this, so I was going toward the sooner you get in motion, the less likely they'll be using contingency to cover extra
Yes,
increases. So a bid that's, you know, $7 million is really, say, 90% of $7 million because the contingency is over there. And, you know, we might be able to, it just behooves haste, I think.
yeah.
Deliberate, considered
Yeah, so
haste.
you're probably looking at minimum 5 million and go up incrementally
In the bond issue,
in the bond
Yeah.
issue.
minimum 5.
Yes.
I mean, if you're gonna go to
If
referendum,
you're staying at, if you're keeping this project in, which I am hoping stays as is, because to go back to bid, we're gonna be stuck again, and we're not gonna make any deadlines. We've already
Yeah.
failed on numerous deadlines on this project, numerous. This should have been started at least 6 months ago.
Right.
So to me, it's presented to the town as is, no adjustments, and let's move forward.
Well, the problem we're having is the staff is wearing out with this project, because it's consuming us from doing everything else that we have to get done.
I'll get it started, move out of here.
And we have a really good building too.
Oh, yeah,
I don't want them to get frustrated and walk.
no, I think that they're in it, they're fine,
Have
we have a great committee.
they given any feedback? 'Cause I
As
haven't
far
heard,
You guys
I
have-
haven't heard feedback from the building committee concerning all this.
Oh, no, Friday, well, no,
Friday was.
Right, that's the first, I haven't heard any inkling from anybody.
Yeah, I don't think the building committee, and I'm, you know, I apologize if I'm speaking out of turn for them, but want to change the scope of the project. I do believe they want to go forward as is.
it makes sense just to the whole building, the electrical upgrade going, and I mean, there's so many, we have no idea, we haven't looked at all the contracts yet to see if there's any cancellation, but I do have electrical equipment that's been ordered, which I assume if you cancel, there's probably gonna be a penalty. You know, so it's, my opinion, just leave it as is, move forward and let the town decide. I assume it's gonna pass anyway, so it's just finding out how much it's gonna cost in bonding. So,
Doesn't, I mean, maybe people will be proposing that we scrap it, but I can't see how that's even remotely a possibility. Is on the horizon is mandate, and if it doesn't happen in the next 2 years, it'll happen in the next 4 years or
Yeah.
something. So they'll like,
You know,
do it now while it's cheaper. even
Yeah,
though
'cause it's gonna cost more, and then the state said they may start adding that to the construction thing about HVAC to school building construction. But again, they're gonna have to, there's no guarantee that money's gonna be there.
I was talking to the previous first selectwoman of Wellington, they're in the regional for Chaplin and Scotland.
They're at Ridge 19,
Yes, ma'am.
I guess they're battling.
Chaplain, they're at Parish Hill.
So whatever group of schools she was telling me about, the two schools are very old and need a ton of renovation, including the track.
Oh, Wellington Elementary. I see.
So the recommendation was to build one new school to solve all this, but that got turned down. And then, okay, we'll renovate, that got turned down. So she finally went out of office and said, good luck. And I don't, that's a real, at least our school is still usable. We're not looking at building a new school, I can't even fathom that right now.
Right.
That's at least $20 million,
Right.
At least,
at least.
I would say
Is that
times 5.
Mansfield just did that, or something.
Well, the problem you have too is you have to have a new spot to build it, or you'd have to move all the kids somewhere while you.
Yeah, well, let's not even go
Yeah.
there.
Oh.
I will retire.
You're just trying to scare everybody into doing the right thing.
I know, I'm listening to other leaders in towns and they're all losing their minds over, we all have culvert and road issues that we're dealing with.
Well, your culvert and road issues are old estimates too, so they're.
Right. Well, they're also caused due to this new increased rainfall we're having, which are destroying, we had a great presentation last night, we hired a road engineering firm to analyze all the roads, and they came back, it was very good data, not on drainage, just on road surface.
What firm did you hire?
Beta, BETA. So we have a whole inventory of every road, what needs to happen, and basically to stay status quo with a C rating, we have to spend $400,000 a year on roads. Bringing them up, because roads are always decaying. But if we go to 600,000, we'll be B students, and 800,000 will be A students.
Mm.
With-
You said C is fine, C is.
Yeah.
He's got degrees.
We'll stay at C.
C is good.
We don't drive that, we don't want to
Our
encourage
rating
speeding.
is above average, so we said our roads aren't
We're,
terrible.
we're in good shape,
You said we're actually in good shape, so,
except for drainage.
yeah.
We're working on the major drainage issues we have.
So I guess stay tuned. Let's see what
So
Friday.
Friday for,
Yep.
I'll,
I mean, I anticipate I know the outcome, but
okay,
So can I know I'm not supposed to be here, but can I understand the steps? Like, so we go to Board of Ed and then go to Board of Selectmen.
The Board of Ed, they already had their meeting this month, but it's just getting a consensus
Some
from
is-
them
Yeah,
with the letter.
So-
And then the Board of Selectmen, they meet next week to move to a town meeting. At minimum, we have to have some kind of public hearing or town meeting on this.
right.
It might mean, would be good to just combine it into a town meeting so that we can adjourn to a referendum, and then she's setting a date.
Right, and how much lead notice do we have to give for the meeting?
So it's 10 days, I think. We just gotta get the advertisement out, and same thing as a referendum. We also have to find the availability of the registrar of voters, they're kind of scarce right now.
I'll call the bond council and start working on the wording for the,
Should be close to the last one.
right,
I mean,
it's just a modification of amount.
Right,
They're
so we
probably
need the
saying this is
amount.
what we originally approved for bonding or whatever, and just update it to the new one, but.
as quickly as we can do these dates, I think that would be,
It's gonna be in December if we're gonna get going on this, because these people are waiting.
right?
You don't want them to say, okay, sorry,
I got it.
your 265 days is now 365 days. And
Oh, that's right, it was a big difference in how many days to get the project done.
Well, you might be 8.9 million, it's only 120 days, you can get done in
Right,
4 months. That'd be really coming in.
Working all night.
Yeah, about
Yeah,
the kids
and
and.
We'll be best friends with them, you'll see them so much.
But, you know, yeah, the time's of the essence, although, yeah. So we'll see, we're just gonna stay tuned, we'll update everybody.
So we have to have the referendum before we can sign
Or
that contracts,
sign any
obviously.
Yes,
Because
so we'll have to keep, you know, so I think it would be just to pick the vendor, just saying, hold on, we're waiting and let them know, so Friday. Yeah, so that would be, just, of course, not gonna have to approve the vendor, I think, I don't think so.
I think a contract this big, more than
Less than
lessen it,
by the board of ed too.
because we wouldn't have, the building committee could if the money was authorized.
Over short, so.
So it's not authorized at the moment, so you're looking at board selectmen and.
The board of selectmen have to be behind this.
Right,
They can't say, okay, well, you think about it for the next 2 weeks. No, they have to make a decision next week. Like that, they can just give us the words, okay. So, with that note, well, then we'll just move on to update on the year-end numbers. So this, what I gave is like a scenario. Based on the audit was finished last week, so providing no additional changes. We look at the midway down, there's like a highlighted number, the undesignated unassigned fund balance. That's, you know, available money is about $3 million. As of June 30th, which is about 15% of the budget requirements for this year. So we're in really good shape. But then as of July 1, there's been some changes because we only took 375,000 out to keep the mill rate down, which increased the undesignated fund balance. So that brings it up to about $3.9 million. But we already took 499 out, so right now available is about 3.4 million, which is 17% of the requirement. So we're doing well. This has no projections in there about how we're doing so far this year. It's a little bit too early to tell. We are starting to get some of those municipal grants in. PCS seems to be on target. There was something about the municipal revenue share.
did we work and get, we did get it?
It's a very confusing email that came out. First, they said they used up all the money, so there's no additional funding, but yet the municipal revenue share money, 20,000 showed up in the bank account. I think it's the other one. That was the supplemental we got, the one where you get, surprisingly, we got 100,000 last year. It's not in the budget, that's the good news. I don't think we're gonna get it this year. So it took a little, like, be reading until I got the money, and then I think that's what they were saying, but it wasn't clear. But we did get something, so, I think collections is coming, came in okay so far. I don't think we know what the collection rate was yet, we're still reviewing, but I think the town so far is doing well, it's just deciding on the HVAC for now, and whatever other capital that needs this year, well, to start prepping, so. But that's it, so, that's all I have on year-end numbers. So far, knock on wood, the audit went well last week. So they have, right now, I haven't gotten any where there's concerns or anything, so.
Very nice.
That one is not gonna do the monthly report, so I have one more audit, so. But yeah, any questions on that? No. Go, okay. Then next was if there's any legislative updates. I didn't usually put that on in case there's anything new, but something new and exciting.
Finance, there's legislative updates for schools and trainings, but nothing like that would affect the budget.
Okay, then we'll move on. Any other discussions, anything anybody want to mention or anything? No. Finance update, just so everybody knows, besides the audit being done. Probably around February 1st, we will be transitioning from our current It's called the MSI accounting system to what's called G-Works. The MSI basically sold to this company, so now it's a transition. They said it's supposed to be better, faster, easier to use. We'll see. You know,
After the nightmare that is.
it's gonna be a nightmare because it's the middle of budget season, but,
EMSI is no, it's not fun
it's,
to navigate through,
it's not that bad. It really isn't. It really isn't.
only for you.
But, you know, but it's, they said the reports
person.
might be able to, I mean, it's ancient. It's probably over 20 years
It's
old.
almost like DOS.
A picture of it, yes.
It looks like you're playing with DOS. I feel like I'm in
Really?
8th grade.
Are you old enough to have played with
I
dolls?
am.
But,
I
yeah.
had
so
punch
we'll-
cards when I was in college.
Really?
Yeah.
Me too.
That was horrible.
But, so we'll see what happens. They were very pushy for a while, but finally ripped the Band-Aid, signed the agreement. They did give us a credit, so the onboarding is not no cost. Because they had promised an upgrade a number of years ago, I kept track of it. So they gave us a credit.
Of course,
for
that
Actually, they
did
gave me a
send-
little more.
That sent them back the canceled checks, proving
I
they
did.
were challenging us.
They said they couldn't find it, so I sent them all the information. And then they gave us an extra $125. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna argue that they're giving me a little more, so.
For your heart. You're probably just going town by town, trying to see who's organized.
Apparently, so we'll see. They said we'll be able to keep, so they'll give me an allowance at least to keep the BMSI records for at least another year. And move over a year. Probably this year we're finishing and whatever into the new year, so.
What does that mean? You won't have it?
The data file, they have to give us like a license every year, so I think that's included in the price, so at least let us.
But then what if you need the data that's on MSI?
So what happens is, right now, I have to get a license, so I think as long as we pay for a license to keep that data, I already have over 20 years, but I can remove some of that. You know, once, I think, that if I can keep up to 5 years, at least for a few years, will be good, so.
Yeah.
So it's a small fee to keep all that, but, so it should be good, and yes, Friday is the deadline for applications for the payroll specialist position, I think, so hopefully we'll find a good candidate pretty quickly and bring somebody in within the next month, so. That's all I have for finance. So then we're gearing up for budget and continuing finishing year end. So anything else I'm gonna talk about?
Everything good in school?
Everything's great.
Yeah.
Oh, how many kids? I was like, how many kids?
We're up to, like 440 at that school, and then high school, we have about 275.
Wow, so that's up there.
We just added another choice high school, so the students from Columbia can go to E.O. Smith, can go to Bolton High or Ram High School.
How,
That's starting in the fall, right?
how'd that
Freshman
happen?
on the freshman.
How that happened, the Board of Ed and Ram got a contract, yeah.
So is that make RAM, how do you bust that?
So it's no, we talked to the bus company, it's gonna be no extra fee, and the tuition is similar to the other, so it's just another.
So-
Everybody's gonna go to high school somewhere.
So that really gives them quite a lot of options.
Yeah, it's fine, unique and free,
3 real high schools,
Yeah.
plus Wyndham Tech, right?
Wyndham Tech, and I mean, then they can go to private high
And the
schools too,
VOAG.
or VOAG or Magnet,
But private high school, we wouldn't fund it, right?
correct,
They would just say, I opt out,
correct.
be like going to a Catholic school.
We've got lots of private schools coming to presentations. to
Yeah, well, we're
parents.
having in January, we're having a high school forum where any school is invited to come. So I think Corey Kulikowski is our counselor, I believe she does have a few private high schools coming.
You know, that's gonna make Columbia really popular.
Desirable, right?
Yeah, because you can come and say, take your pick.
Mhm.
We'll help fund it. Just go where you feel best.
Yeah, it's unique.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did E.O. Smith and Bolton think of that?
Bolton, so E.O. Smith, I haven't spoken to yet. I've called a couple of times, we haven't connected. Bolton, from hearsay, hearsay is their concern that they won't get as many kids. But I did speak to the superintendent and she, Bolton is a unique in that it's very small.
Right, it's a small
So-
cozy school versus Graham or E.O. Smith.
Right, so I think Bolton will still be attracting some folks who want a small
Right.
school, so.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
Yeah, good for you.
Well, that's big news.
It's been a sticking point, there's been some
Yeah,
difficulty
your
with.
parents that
parents.
wanted Graham.
Parents want Ram, and I guess several years ago, when they talked about it, it was a different administration, Ram wanted 7th and 8th grade
Yeah.
and high school. Whereas, this time they were, it's like, all right, we can just offer high school, so that I think was the,
Okay,
And
yeah.
Graham's close.
Ram's really close.
That would weigh in.
Right.
Continue to E.O. Smith stuff.
It's far, but being parents, we have plenty of parents who love E.O. Smith and don't mind that community either, so it's nice to have options.
Well,
Anything else?
motion to adjourn.
So next meeting will be planned for Wednesday, December 11th. So if there's nothing else, have a motion to adjourn. So Mark and Jeff, all in favor? Aye. Have, I guess, have a nice Thanksgiving if we don't see you, boss.
Yeah.
See you next week. See you.
Yeah, next week.
Feels a little crisp outside,
Yeah.
you
Well, I don't know, I'm a dog, it takes more walk.
We have to wear coats now.
This is too close, I get in the cold vehicle and it's still cold when we get here.
Hold on, let me audio out.